Okay, so for this one, this video, we're kind of putting all the polish in. We need to add music. We need to add some DOM objects, a button, and a slider so we can play around with that. So to start off, we're going to add our sounds. Okay, now we only got 3, so I don't think that we really need to necessarily sort anything. We just need to be able to put them in. Okay, so let's look. We need a sound for music. We need a sound for picking up an item. We need a sound for an incorrect option. Okay. So once we have those, there they are. Pick up, music, and wrong. Okay. We need to load those. So we got to have some variables for that. So I'm going to call it pickup. Music. And incorrect. All right. So now we got to preload those. I'm going to go underneath all my images. Now this is pretty easy, putting stuff up. So pickup is load sound, and it is pickup.wave. Music is load sound, and it is music.ogg. And incorrect is load sound, and it is wrong.mp3. Okay, so now that we have those, they're loaded, we can actually plug some of them in. The easiest one is when we press, we need to add the sound here. Okay, so let's go into our references to sound. That's one of the libraries. It's the built-in one. We loaded the sound. We need to be able to play the sound. Okay, there's so many different options that you can do, but just simply typing the name of the variable and then .play will play it. Okay, the key is you need to make sure that we can pass in certain things of what we want to do. We can also adjust the volume as a whole. So I want the pickup sound not to be too loud, so we are going to be touching some of these. The start time is going to be schedule playback to start in seconds from now. So this is like a countdown timer. If I want 3 seconds, it's going to delay it to start 3 seconds. Rate, this is from 0 to 1. 1 means full speed. Okay, so we want that pickup sound to be normal speed. Amplitude is volume. Okay, and we want that to go from 0 to 1, 1 being full volume. We don't want it to full volume. So let's do that. Pickup dot play. Okay, we want it to start 0 seconds from when we click it. We want the rate to be at 1, and let's do 0.5. Okay, and I'll leave the rest of them. Now if we do this, this should be not super loud volume. And for us to see it now, we need to put playing to true until we get that button plugged in. Playing to true, knowing that we're going to have to change this. There we go. Okay. So that's not too bad. Now we want to do our incorrect. So we know that that is in the create bins when we are collecting that trash. here we want to play an incorrect sound. So that would be the incorrect dot play. We want it to play 0 seconds from now, normal rate, and let's say we want it to do 0.5 for volume. Let's test it. Plastic does not go in metal. Metal does not go in trash. Spray can does not go in glass. Okay, so we got that sound working. Okay, I'm not going to add the music right yet because that starts getting too much. But we have all of our stuff, and that's going to get pretty annoying while we're doing that. With all that trash, it's going to go kind of crazy. So we need to start adding that play button and a volume for our music. So let's start creating that. It's going to go crazy. Okay. Play button and volume control. Play button and volume control. Okay, so the play button, we're going to have to do this in the setup. Okay, play button. Got to create that button. Play. And then we're going to need to link this up to when we click on it. And we're going to create some function called interact. And this interact function is going to be letting us know if we're alive, if we want to play again, or if we're dead. If we're dead, we want to play again. If we're alive, then it's just pausing our game so that we can play again. And it's going to pause our music and do all that fun stuff. Okay. So that we need to create. So let's go down and create that interact button. Okay, so when we are in our game, interact, when we are in our game, we want to basically look, hey, if we are not playing, because that's what we're going to start out as, if our health then, if we're not playing, that means we're going to click that button. So if we're not already playing, we're going to click that button. If our health is greater than 0, that means that we should still be playing the game. Then playing would be true. Okay, and that's where we would want to play the music. Okay, if our health is not greater than 0, then we want to reset our game, which we have not written that yet. We want to reset the game. Okay. Now, if we are playing, so that means that we're already playing and I'm clicking on the button. So here, the else for this would mean that we want to pause. So then playing would become false. And then I would want to pause the music. Pause the music. Okay. That playing then would trigger back and forth on if I'm displaying here. So if we run this, now I don't see it, I see it, don't see it, see it. Okay, looks pretty cool. All right, but we want to start it out reading the instructions. So that means we're going all the way to the top. Probably don't need to see most of these functions anymore. We're going to set this to false, so we start with the instructions first. Okay, and then we can click play. All right, now let's set up our volume control because we want to implement the music. Okay, volume control is create a slider. And we want it to go from 0 to 1 because full volume is at 1. We could default it to 0.8, so it's like 80% of the volume. And then we want the slider to go from by 0.1. And this just makes it so that it will slide within the relation of what we want to do. create slider. There it is. So it's spaced off of my play button. So now we could link this volume control to, the volume control would need to be linked inside the draw to dynamically change the volume of the music. Okay. Music. Okay, so inside my draw, somewhere in here, I'm going to put music.set volume. And this is a function that you could find in the references for us to be able to change the volume. We want to do volume control dot value. And then that will pull the music volume. All right. So now we want to be able to play that though, and that would be through our interact. So let's go down to the interact button. So this would be music.pause. If we're playing the music, this would be music.loop. Now we could do play, but since we want it to play over and over and over, I'm just checking it. Alright, so that looks like we got that part. That volume control is independent, so that's set for adjusting the volume of just the music. Let's rewrite the reset game, because this is going to end up airing out as soon as we get to 0. So let's go ahead and write that reset game function. Okay, let's write that reset game. Okay, so everything in the setup that we created, we want to be able to be dynamic on it. So we want to redo all of those things. So there's a lot of stuff in the setup that we created that we want to redo. So trash pile, the speed, if we wanted to reset that, creating the trash pile. The bins, we want to reset any bins that were created, recreate them, set it so that we're not holding anything, set our health back to 100, put our sorted score back down to 0, put our playing down to false. All of these things we want to create. So let's just copy that. We'll come down to the reset game. That's what we're going to have. Okay. Okay. All right. Now we clicked it because we died, but I clicked it and then that's when it actually stopped the game. And then that kind of reset it again, but it did not set us to playing it. Okay, so that's a little bit of a bug that you might want to play around with, but it is working. Now we have a full game with music. Now, let's go to, because now when we're playing, we do not want to create 50 pieces of trash. Let's start with 5. So we're going to go all the way back to the top. We're also setting this to 5 because now that we know that that's kind of working. And we want to set it up so that when we have a certain score, we want to be able to check. Now there's a couple places that we could do this. We could do this in draw, but draw, if I am choosing to add trash, this create trash pile is reusable because we can pass a certain amount. we can say, well, we want to add trash. So if, let's say we're in the game, we're like, hey, we're over, a certain amount, our sorted score is at a certain amount, let's go ahead and add a couple more pieces of trash. If you do that inside the draw, that is not event-based. That means it's going to fire all the time, and you're going to end up having 1,000 of those. Okay, so we need to make sure that it stays event-based. So not in the draw. I would probably say not in the mouse press. Do it in the mouse released, where we are checking. This would probably be one of the best places to be able to check for if that trash has been collected. If we have a certain score, then we can do something with it. So in here, we were talking about increasing speed and adding more trash. Okay, we have released the piece of trash. We can have this checking as we sort. We could also do it another place. The only issue with it is, so there's a couple of things. If we do this where we create the bins and we're collecting the trash, we could do it here. This is happening all the time. This is still not really event-based. But we could have, when we have a collision with the trash, then we could check, regardless if it's a good collision or a bad collision. We're still resetting. We could also check here. If the trash, the total trash sorted, if that is, then we could actually go through and start resetting the speed of the trash. We could individually do it each time we collide with a piece of trash and correctly sort it. We could start increasing the speed once we have a certain value amount. So there's a couple different places to do it. Mouse release would work. This place would work. I think I'm going to actually play around with doing it here because the last time I did it in mouse release to do it. Okay, so if trash sorted, and this is where we're using modulus. So let's say if trash sorted modulus 5 is equal to 0, that means that for every 5 times we collect trash, and we're ignoring that trash sorted does not equal 0. Okay. That's not. And. Okay. If that's true, then I want to increase that individual piece of trash. Increase speed. So each time we sort a piece of trash, if that piece was within that 5, we would increase the speed of the trash. Now, if we wanted all the trash to be increased, then I'm going to have to go through and probably not do it here. I'm going to have to do it in a different area, probably where I'm going through all of the trash, and then I can increase the speed of all of the pieces of trash. Okay, so there's trade-offs on this one. I'm only increasing here. So actually, I'm going to move this so that we're looking at each piece of trash, but then I do want to have, when my sorted amount gets to a certain amount, then I want to add the trash. So I'm going to move this here to when we are releasing the mouse. Because we're checking each piece of trash right here, we're going to increase the speed. So this would make sense here. If the trash sorted is a multiple of 5, then we're going to increase the speed of the trash. But this is going through every single piece of trash. So this will increase the speed of all of the trash pieces. Okay, now I want all the trash to increase by a certain speed. So let's look at that trash.increase speed. There's a speed for the trash, but then I have a full speed. So each time I create trash, I want it to start at a certain speed also. So let's look at the trash when we're creating the trash here. Let's go, open it up. increase speed. We increase the velocity right here by a certain amount. But then when we create that speed, so when we created this, this was setting the value of the velocity is by the speed, which is found right here. That's that trash speed that we have. Okay, so if we're going to increase any new trash, we have to also change that trash speed. So we're going to additionally change in here. We're going to say trash speed also is going to increase by the same amount, so that everything is increasing by that. Now, when we are, so we're increasing the speed, that's going to increase the speed of all the trash that's already created. Now, if we want to create more trash, we could do it in here. We can also do it in the bins, which I kind of want as soon as we are doing that. Well, let's just see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna, if trash sorted modulus 10, so if it's a multiple of 10, and we need it to not be a multiple of 5, so it doesn't do it twice. Actually, it doesn't matter. We don't want it to be 0, trash sorted. Then we can do that create trash pile. We want to create 2 pieces of trash, and we want it to have that trash speed. Okay. We could also here increase the speed of the music. Okay, so this is 10. In order for me to see this without taking forever, I'm going to change the entire speed, the trash speed of everything, up. So let's say that's 2, because I want to see that increasing. No pressure. Okay, we should see it speeding up. Ah! Yeah, that looks like it's going a lot faster. Okay. All right. We also want to give ourselves a boost. So if, as we're playing, we release a piece of trash and our score is within a certain amount, I think that we should be winning some health back. So you get rewarded for good sorting. Okay, so here we're sorting, we're increasing the speed. Let's also here ask if the trash sorted is, let's say for every 25 pieces that we sort, it's not equal 0. We want to give some of our health back. So let's ask if health is less than 90, less than or equal to 90. Then we can add health because we don't want it to be greater than that. So health plus equals 10. Okay, now there's a bug in here. Let's just see where our health is. This game will still have a sort even if I'm holding on to it. I need it to actually reset because I can hold it. And it's still giving me a score. But that's why I gave us all that stuff. So that's basically the game, though. There are a couple bugs that I encourage you guys to play around, try to figure them out. We have a fully working game to be able to play. There is a score. We get to actually challenge people, see, a score that's increasing. You see the health bar that is showing values, increasing and decreasing. For our score, we have feedback through knowing that we collected something, that we properly sorted something or incorrectly sorted something, and we can ramp it up. The only other thing that we could probably do, and I'm not going to walk through this one, we can actually change the rate of the music. So let me show that. And the rate, like here, we can play around with the rate. It will change the speed and the pitch. So it's in values, though, between 0 and 1. Okay? So if you wanted to play around with the rate, you would go from 0 would be that it's, not playing at all, no speed. 1 would be normal. 0.5 would be half speed. 2.0 would be twice as fast. And that's pretty much where it will go a little bit faster than that. But what you could do, and I did not do it in this version, you can have it also generate for it to speed up the music based off of collections. So every time we collect an item, we can also adjust the rate by a certain amount. You could take the playback rate and have it speed up by a small amount and then add that to the rate. In order to do that, you would have to have a global variable, maybe you called it playback rate, and then if you wanted to do it where every time trash sorted goes up, or maybe every 5 or 10, you could do that and then have that rate. So you would say the music dot rate, and then it would be that playback value. But that playback value needs to increase however you're setting it. And you could play around with that. But this is the entirety of the game. This gets you enough to be able to play around with it, understand the full process of creating a game, from the idea to what we wanted to do. We were developing with testing in mind, looking at those things. There are multiple ways that we could kind of try to solve some stuff, like even how we were talking about for collisions and for where we would adjust scores and things like that. The main thing is that you have to make sure that it's wherever you're doing that type of stuff, that it's event-based and does not happen every single frame, because if it happens every single frame, then it won't be accurate. And even though we were looking at this, we could see that there are still errors in existence. I should be able to, let's see. We can kind of spoof it, okay, which could happen to be good or bad, because I can have lots and lots of stuff generating and we can see the game playing again. Okay, so that's basically it. Good luck, have fun. Remember that this assignment, if you guys are in my class, that this is 20% of your final, okay? Because you have this and your other assignments that I already walked through that you guys have to do. So this full walkthrough, being able to create this in its entirety, would be your final grade. If you want to do the additional challenges to find and figure out those bugs so that they're not working, where I can't have stuff colliding multiple times while I'm holding on to it, that would be a good challenge to figure out. Also to make sure that all the sorting and stuff. That's it. That's all I got. Good luck. Have fun.